In the scorching midday heat, news came in that a wild boar herd had suddenly stormed through the fields, causing chaos and panic across the region. Without wasting a second, the protection hunting team immediately set out, heading straight for their hideout. Ahead of us, danger looms. Behind us, the livelihoods of countless families depend on our success. Will our determination be strong enough to stop these monsters? Stay with us until the end to find out how this tense showdown unfolds. In our kayak boat, we quietly glide into what we believe is the boar's mud bath gathering spot. Our sharp eyes scan every inch of the surrounding area, missing nothing. And there it is! The victory sounds echo briefly, but with unwavering resolve. This is a challenge, but more than that, it's a responsibility to preserve the life and peace of this land. With our fighting spirit intact, the team immediately spreads out, encircling and blocking every possible escape route within the tangled swamp. The airboats speed up, closely tracking the wild boars, which are charging at incredible speed through their own territory. The synchronicity of the team becomes a key factor, opening up an opportunity for Jack to deliver the decisive blow. This isn't just a counterattack, it's a declaration of ownership and responsibility for protecting the villagers. The tension remains high, and John is about to make a bold decision. As he receives the target signal, he quietly leaves the boat and moves stealthily toward the target. There it is. Despite the distance, John maintains complete control over the situation. His refined skills and relentless training have molded him into a resilient marksman, steady in his mission to protect the crops and the lives of the people in this land. Thanks to his bold decision, John manages to approach several targets hidden deep within the swamp's corners. Each precise shot forces the boars to retreat, pulling the hidden dark figures out into the open. Without a hint of panic, John knows we are ready for anything. His calmness and battle-hardened composure turn every danger into an opportunity for this mission, which is nearing its victorious conclusion. When we finally locate them, a swift charge surrounds and neutralizes the elusive creatures quickly, precisely and decisively. Within minutes, the swamp quiets down, the only sound being the scattered remains of the fallen boars. Clear evidence of the team's coordination and relentless determination. Wild boars are known for being tough adversaries, but today, the team's preparation has made the mission smoother, bringing us closer to victory. As the afternoon sun begins to set, the hunt enters a more difficult phase as the trail of the wild boars begins to fade. But our pursuit remains undeterred. After 15 minutes, the last of the dark shapes is finally found. The echoes of the chase and the cheers of victory quickly follow. Our mission to protect this land can now come to an end. Today's hunt wasn't just about winning a battle, it was about protecting a community, a deep reminder of humanity's responsibility toward nature. Every decision was made under the permission of the authorities, ensuring ecological balance and the protection of the wild populations. Every step, every shot is a blend of skill, teamwork, and determination. While we've captured a significant number of wild boars, bringing peace to the fields, this journey isn't over yet. After the harvest, the fields are left with nothing but bare stubble. But this is exactly where wild boars often come to forage. They dig up the earth, ruin the freshly harvested plots, leaving chaotic traces and causing great distress to the locals. This is why we decided to organize this hunting trip, to control the wild herd and protect the crops. Before setting out, the team carefully checked their guns, reloaded ammo, tested radios, and put on protective gear. Will our plan succeed? Can we take down these destructive invaders? Follow along to find out. About 20 minutes later, we arrived at today's battleground. The open field ahead was the perfect spot for wild boars to appear. The team leader quickly divided us into groups to block exits and set up an ambush. Within just 10 minutes, the ground seemed to tremble as a herd of boars ran single file across the field. The leader tracked every movement carefully, keeping his sights locked. When all factors aligned, he fired decisively. One fell immediately. Then, supportive shots rang out from blocking positions, dropping a few more. The rest of the herd fled, only to run into the traps we'd laid. Suddenly, a large boar charged straight at me. Without hesitation, I raised my rifle, steadied my aim. At just the right distance, I pulled the trigger sharply. The bullet struck the heart and lungs. The boar collapsed on the spot, ending the dangerous charge. You see, when facing a wild animal charging head-on, staying calm, estimating distance, and prioritizing safety are the keys. Right after my shot, rapid gunfire erupted from the left. A massive shadow had panicked and bolted past a nearby squad. Reacting quickly, my teammate calculated the speed and direction of the running animal to take the shot. At the precise moment it crossed the clearing, the bullet tore through the air and struck through, flipping the boar over as it struggled before finally collapsing. Nothing could outmatch these sharpshooters. A flawless kill, ending any chance of escape. At the same time, another boar burst out from the dry crops nearby, desperate to escape. My teammate reacted instantly, pulling back to gauge the trajectory. In a split second, the shot stopped the escape attempt. This quick reflex made all the difference. We switched to Plan B, spreading out to widen the search area. One group pushed deep into the forest, while another used motorcycles for faster mobility. The roaring engine startled some hidden boars, who dashed out in panic. Instantly, a target sped by, and my teammate skillfully revved the throttle, closely tailing on his bike. Ever witnessed a chase like that? He maintained control with one hand on the handlebars, the other steadying his rifle, controlling each breath as the bike roared over rough terrain. When close enough, he fired sharply. The prey dropped in panic. This isn't a skill every hunter has. You need balance and firing control to stay safe and be effective. Following the remaining tracks, we entered the final phase of the hunt. The moment was truly tense. A massive target appeared before me, its eyes sharp and defiant. The beast roared and charged straight at me. Heart pounding, I steadied myself, gripped my rifle tightly, and calculated the split second that would decide life or death. When it was just a few steps away, I fired. The thunderous shot shattered the silence. The monster faltered and collapsed at my feet, ending the final confrontation. On these hills, there is a ruler, wild boars. Agile, fierce, and intimately familiar with the terrain, they turn every bush into a fortress and every slope into a life-or-death challenge. Facing them, luck alone won't cut it. It takes strategy, teamwork, and those split-second decisive shots when the stakes are at their highest. Join us as we embark on this hunt. Get ready, because this hunt is not for the faint of heart. The thicket is the wild boar's domain, where they use the terrain to hide and strike with lightning speed. Visibility is limited, and danger lurks at every turn. To break their advantage, we rely on our highly trained four-legged warriors, honed to perfection. The whole team is focused, following the carefully laid out hunting plan. By midday, we follow the sound of the hounds barking, guiding us toward the dry thicket ahead. When spotted, the wild boar attempts to escape, but the clever hounds have already closed in, cutting off every possible exit. With no other option, the beast charges straight toward the barrels of the waiting rifles, bringing an end to the chase. A perfect pincer move between man and his four-legged companions. What do you think, brothers? The deep, wide footprints pressed into the earth guide David straight into the sparse woods to the east. His rifle slowly rises, each breath becoming quicker, as if signaling the decisive moment is near. Then, as dark shadows charge forward in a frenzy, the sharp crack of the gunfire rings out in response. Even the craftiest boar, hiding in the reeds, cannot escape its fate when the final bullet finds its mark. This is not a massacre. This is the way to restore peace to the land. Not far off, following the deep, mournful howl, like a trumpet announcing the final call, James moves deeper into the woods, where his four-legged companions have already fought and cornered the massive wild boar, leaving it with no escape. The howl is a confirmation. The hounds have completed their task, and the final decision now rests with me. My shot may be the one that ends the battle, but the true heroes of this fight are the hounds, whose teamwork and courage led the way. Leaving the thick underbrush of the old forest, our footsteps begin to lead us up the windy hillside. An open view now stretches before us, but with it comes the unpredictability of the terrain. The greatest enemy now is not the prey, but our own impatience. On the rocky hillside, the distinctive sharp scent in the wind betrays the boar's hiding place. As the boar dashes through the underbrush, John's eyes lock onto its every movement, his aim steady. The shot rings out the instant it fully emerges onto the slope. Only experience can turn that split-second moment into a perfect shot like this. As the evening shadows stretch long, we settle on the high hillside, offering a wide vantage point. When the target appears, a distant figure almost indistinguishable to the naked eye, David doesn't hesitate. The moment it enters his sights, he pulls the trigger. At what seemed like an impossible distance, the boar collapses on the spot. Even we, the witnesses, stand frozen for a moment in sheer disbelief. As the evening light fades over the hillside, I catch a subtle movement in the brush, signaling one last opportunity of the day. All my focus shifts to the scope, and at the very moment the boar relaxes, unaware, a single shot rings out, bringing an end to it all, marking the conclusion of a perfect, fulfilling hunt. Today's journey didn't just bring success, it fulfilled our responsibility to protect the harvest and preserve the peace for the people. Today, the harvest has been protected for another day. This battle is far from over, but we know that as long as we stand together, no danger will make us step back. Population has surged to over 2.6 million, and they're showing up everywhere, from remote farms to the backyards of city homes. And they have one mission: to destroy everything in their way. They rip up the land, pollute our water resources, and compete for food, pushing native wildlife out of their own habitat. That's why we are heading out once again. This is not a hunt for sport. It is a necessary mission to control a destructive species and protect our state, our land, and everything we've built. At 6 a.m., with the plan laid out and every role clearly assigned, we set out once again with unwavering determination. On the western hillside, where Jay stood guard, was a critical choke point. Suddenly, he heard movement. Eyes locked through the scope. He scanned the trail, and there it was. A massive wild hog burst out of the brush at full speed. Jay pulled the trigger. The shot landed true. The beast dropped instantly, the threat neutralized before it could vanish into the deep woods. As the echo of the gunshot faded, peace returned to the land. A perfect start to today's hunt. Meanwhile, over on the eastern flank, I was locked in with a worthy opponent. It was tearing across the hillside like a mad beast, dodging my shots with unreal speed. What on earth is this thing? I muttered to myself, barely believing what I was seeing. Then, in a moment straight out of an action movie, it launched itself past a massive boulder. I knew right then, this was my one shot. It hadn't made it far. My sights were already up, locked in. I pulled the trigger and it dropped. The chase ended right there, in the blink of an eye. Heart pounding, no joke. That last move, tell me fellas, was that a solid 10 or what? As the sun dipped low, we pushed deeper into the hills, into thickets so dense they swallowed up our line of sight. Then suddenly, a wild hog burst out, sprinting full speed down the only trail it could find, desperate to escape. But what it didn't know was that this trail led straight to its end. Kevin, seasoned and sharp, was already there one step ahead. The moment it exposed its weak spot, boom! Boom! Target neutralized, clean and fast. It had speed, but we had the strategy. What do you think, boys? That pincer move was slick or what? As the sun set, the enemy grew bolder. We adjusted our tactics accordingly. The thermal scopes were ready, turning us into true night hunters. Then, out of the darkness, a shadow appeared, boldly rooting up the earth in search of food. That ugly sight was unforgivable. I fired immediately, taking down the threat and restoring peace to the village. It was digging for food, but in the end, it dug its own grave. Here, there's no place for destroyers. As night falls, the world transforms into black and white through the thermal scope. Every movement becomes sharper, clearer than ever with our team's high-tech gear. The wild hogs are feasting in the open clearing, completely unaware that a deadly eye is watching from afar. I calmly pick the biggest one, steady my aim, and squeeze the trigger. In an instant, a shadow drops, and the rest scatter. No time to look back. One shot for the night, so that the dawn can come peacefully. Tomorrow, everything will return to normal, as if the destructive wild hogs never showed up. We moved quickly to track down the rest before the hunt was over. Finn locked onto the lead hog with cold precision. The boss went down instantly, seeing the whole group scatter, not giving them a second to breathe. He swung the rifle and fired relentlessly like a machine, determined to take down as many as possible before they vanished into the woods. So, brothers, how many shots did you count in that final barrage? Faced with the rapid proliferation and cunning intelligence of these ferocious beasts, Germany's fields are enduring a devastating onslaught. Farmlands lie in ruins, soil is ravaged, and the safety of people and livestock is gravely threatened. The hunters are ready to step in, determined to halt this catastrophe. Will they succeed in protecting this land? Follow the gripping moments below and pick out the most impressive hunt. A breathless hunt is unfolding across the fields of Germany. The marksmen arrived early, surrounding the entire field. Not long after, at Jack's position, a wild boar suddenly charged across his line of sight. Instantly, a gunshot rang out, halting the beast's advance just in time. A perfect shot, precise to the second, leaving no chance for further destruction. The battle has officially begun. At the edge of the field, a marksman in an ambush position suddenly spotted a herd of wild boars leisurely foraging. Without hesitation, he opened fire. Each bullet fired brought down only 2 boars, while the rest managed to flee in time. Determined not to let them escape easily, he relayed their position to his team, paving the way for a fierce sweep about to unfold. Just minutes later, on Kevin's side, he swiftly intercepted a wild boar attempting to escape. The moment it burst out of the thicket, he locked onto the target and pulled the trigger. With just a single shot, he completely halted the boar's attempt to flee. Another threat was neutralized swiftly. Continuing to track the remaining traces, the sudden barking of hunting dogs signaled the beast's location. Jack and his team swiftly closed in, encircling the rice field. Venturing deeper toward the source of the sound, a wild boar abruptly charged out, attempting to escape. But Jack didn't let that happen. A shot rang out instantly, extinguishing all its hopes. The beast collapsed, no longer able to wreak havoc, restoring the field's rightful tranquility. An ambush in the forest between Kevin and the cunning beast officially began. Less than 10 minutes after settling into his hiding spot, the silhouette of a wild boar swiftly appeared in his line of sight. Without a moment's hesitation, a shot rang out the instant the beast emerged. Now, only the fallen animal lay on the grass, a clean end to a dangerous threat. At the same moment, another marksman lay in ambush, poised and ready for the prey to appear. The instant the target came into view, she pulled the trigger. A decisive shot rang out, and the beast collapsed onto the cold ground. Another threat was eliminated, successfully halting the destruction caused by these ferocious creatures on this land. Each shot fired today not only brought down the beasts, but also helped protect crops, preserve the land, and gradually restore the agricultural economy.
Drop them.
For the past 3 days, the forest has been eerily silent. No tracks, no sounds, only the cold and suspicion creeping into every step. But today, the first sunlight breaks through. From my experience, this is exactly when the wild boars start moving. We immediately adjust our strategy, putting all our hope on one last ambush point. The chance is still there, but will nature be on our side? Don't take your eyes off. The tension is just beginning. Armed with specialized weapons and modern gear, we move straight to our assigned positions. After days of waiting, the wild boars finally show up. Quickly, we adjust our scopes and track their direction. The first shot rings out, taking down the lead boar. The rest scatter, but other shooters are ready. Signals are passed. Every position coordinates flawlessly, cutting off every escape route. This encounter is not just a test of patience and tactics, it's a mark of the team's synergy and rare luck. Continuing the chase, we move to higher ground, expanding our view over the foothills. Familiar shadows swiftly dart across our sight. The first bullet fires, but the distance makes a clean kill tough. Even with clearer vision, these agile black shapes vanish quickly, leaving a sting of regret, heightening the hunt's intensity. Seeing the pressure mount, Nick acts fast. He sends a lookout up high to spot targets and immediately alert the team below for a swift strike. Once the plan kicks in, each wild boar that appears is quickly surrounded. No escape routes left. After relentless pressure, we finally reclaim this area from the beast's claws. The detonations ring out, startling the boars into a panicked retreat down the hillside, hiding deep in thick brush. Kevin's team is immediately tasked with controlling this zone. After hours of intense tracking, each target falls, one by one. Peace is restored. While Kevin fights hard, the hunting dogs don't miss a beat, sniffing out the prey quickly. The boars rush forward in desperation. Look, the hounds remember their craft perfectly, leading the way and forcing the boar into the open. Thanks to them, my shot lands just in time, taking down the target before it escapes. One more threat neutralized, bringing peace back to the locals. Meanwhile, on the eastern hillside, Nick's team faces a tense chase. After nerve-wracking moments, he finally intercepts the wild boars as planned. Using every skill, Nick tightens the pressure, leaving no chance for escape. A deadly volley ends the thrilling pursuit. As evening light fades and darkness creeps in, the last targets reveal themselves just before nightfall. Within minutes, none can outrun the precise, decisive shots fired. At last, the locals can breathe easy, no longer fearing the destructive wild boars.